Hello infrastructure nerds, we've got another video on riding into the CBD, this time from Subiaco, and we're coming in on a well-used principal shared path which gives us several options about how to get into the CBD. So we've got one coming up here on the right. I've already done a video on this. It goes past the RAC building. That's not a bad way to get into the western end of the city. But there's another couple of ways, because this path just keeps on going and going for another couple of hundred meters, and it gives you at least 3 places where you can peel off and get to your destination. So there's none of this stuff in Sydney where you kind of get dumped on the edge of the CBD and you've got to fight your way through busy streets to get close to where you want to go.
Now I've stopped here because hopefully it's out of the wind, but also because I'm at an intersection. So I've come down that path behind me, and you can see over there behind me there's a path, there's a T-junction that goes off that way. And I can also go this way. Now both of these will dump me out on the northern side of the CBD, which is good. But I've also found that no matter which one of these paths I take, in about 100 meters it turns into a confused mess. And there's no clear symbology or clues or anything, hints to tell you where to then go. Now I know there are more paths because I've ridden on them, but there's all these missing chunks in between. It's like, well, how do you get from where this finishes to where the next bit starts? So let's go have a look.
This path that I choose to take gets blocked off at certain times. I think most of the time it's open, but when they have a concert or something on at I think it's the concert hall, these gates you can see up in front of you get blocked off, and you've got no choice but to turn right back where I did that previous little bit of blah blah blah. So you can see it's pretty obvious. You just ride down the side here, and it's all good so far. I mean, the fences over there have been pushed over and haven't been put back up for a few weeks. And we come around the corner, you can see there's lots and lots of bike parking there. There's bollards. It's a nice pedestrianised area, but this is my 4th time through here, and I still haven't figured out where the heck it is I'm supposed to go. Yeah, 4 times, and I'm still lost.
Now this section is really quite screwball, because I'll come from over there, clearly defined bike path, come into this plaza, piazza, square, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah, it's all a nice pedestrianised area, but where to from here? Now, this is where it's really bizarre, because that grey bit of stuff there is pedestrian / bike path. But if you look here, there's no curb ramp to get across here. There's no obvious place to go across. And I've gone and had a look up here, and I can't actually see how you're supposed to get from where I am here to over there. It doesn't match up. Now that's also, last time I came through here, that was closed off. You can see there's construction hoardings and stuff around the place. In fact, it looks like on the other side of that fence there's actually another path which is now not accessible. Now, if I go down that way, that's Wellington Street, and I know there's a bike path that runs along Wellington Street. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But again, there's nothing here from where I've come off over there to say, well, this is how you're supposed to go across this piazza or around or whatever to get there. Now let's just watch this cyclist. Now I guess if I was here on Monday morning during peak hour, there you go, they just jumped across the curb. Oh, there is a curb there, look at that. Well, there you go. So in order to get to that thing over there, instead of just riding from straight over there to straight over there, you've got to ride over there, do a big loopy-de-loop, go down there to a completely non-obvious curb ramp, cross over the road, come back up the other side, and then go up there. Who thought of that? Well anyway, let's have a look at that bit, and then we'll come back and we'll go down here and we'll have a look at this bit. I don't know if we'll be able to actually do that because I think there's construction there and it's blocked off. But let's see what we find. And of course, one thing to look for is when there's construction, have they put in reasonable detours around it so you know where the hell you're supposed to be.
Well, I guess that proves the old idea that if you don't really know where to go, just find a cyclist and follow them. Hopefully they'll know where they're going. So look at that ramp. It's a beautifully wide ramp. It's fantastic. It just is in a really strange place, I thought. They're going to go on the road. I'm going to try out this path and let's see where it takes us. I mean, it's a nice wide path. It'd be nice if it was red, but hey, you know, it's wide, it's going in the right direction. Let's see why he's over there. And whoops, yes, it narrows dramatically as it goes around the corner, and that pedestrian just popped out from behind the hoarding. Didn't see them, well, thankfully saw them with plenty of notice, but yeah, this is probably not the most sensible place to be. Might be better off being over on the road rather than in that narrow space. Now, that's another option. We'll come back to that one later. I thought, no, I'm just going to follow this bloke. Hopefully knows where he's going. Notice outside most of the buildings there is bike parking, and you'll see it particularly when we go around the block on the other side. I've been through here on a weekday and it's reasonably busy with pedestrians, etc. You don't go flying through. You just cruise through here slowly and you'll get to where you want to go. Nice and wide. It's using red asphalt. It seems kind of obvious that it's okay for cyclists, but you see there's no cycling symbology. I didn't see any signs anywhere saying cyclists. For all I know, we're banned from being in here, but I've seen plenty of people riding through, so beats me what the story is. I'm just following him, and I'll plead ignorance if anyone pulls me over. Now, coming up here, I could go left or I could go right, and I thought, well, this bloke got me this far, I'll just follow them and see if there's actually another pathway through here he's going to take. Maybe there's a different route that I haven't found yet. So let's see if he's going to introduce me to something I haven't found so far. And I got to these lights and thought, no, nope, not going to find out anything new there. Let's just go back to where we should have turned right and try again. So we're going to ride down here to Wellington Street. Again, you can see more bike parking there on the left. We'll wind our way through those things there. And this is a really interesting bike path which runs along Wellington Street for some distance, and I call it the ankle breaker because look at that. You could, if you weren't looking where you're going, you're looking at your phone and you rolled your ankle over on that, well, yeah, it'll probably hurt quite a bit. Nice wide path. Pity it's not red asphalt, so it would stand out from a distance, because really the only indication you can ride along here is you come over and have a look at it and you go, oh look, there's bike symbols on the ground. If you didn't know it was here, there's a chance you actually wouldn't find it. But it does go for a goodly distance. Again, look over there on the right, you'll see the bike parking outside just every entrance. But unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and for some reason the path is blocked off when we get up to here. And I did think about just going around the fences and jumping back on at the other side, but that blocked it off a little bit further up as well, and that blocked it off from the road right across to the hoardings. Absolutely no idea why. Now, here we go back to this, we'll come into this from the other side. And why are we doing this? Well, just because it's there. Why not? Let's go up here and have a look. And just have a look at this path from the other side and have a closer look at what they've done here, where there's a path that suddenly turns into a non-path. What exactly is going on?
A little bit ironic that behind me is John Holland Building, who are a big construction firm. Anyway, so I've just come along this path here from whatever the hell that thing is over there, and you can see it's a clearly marked pedestrian and cycle path, and then it gets to this point here. I don't know how well you can see this, but you can see it branches off. So there's a new section there and there's the old section here where the fence is, and there's all this construction stuff here, and the path just ends. Well, the problem is this path here goes just around that corner, and then it just finishes too. It goes from this nice wide, how wide is this, 3 metre wide path, into essentially a narrow footpath, and I just about clobbered a pedestrian coming the other way the first time I came around here. And it's now very obvious why every cyclist I've seen coming through here is on the road out there rather than this, because this is a completely useless piece of infrastructure and there's no warning that it finishes. And unfortunately that's just typical of a lot of the stuff around here. You get this great infrastructure like this, which is really badly let down by signage, warning signage and wayfinding signage.
Well, the next 5 minutes are pretty much me just going back down to Wellington Street and riding from well, one end of the street to the other essentially, or one end of the city to the other. You can see that cyclist made the choice to go down the footpath for whatever reason. Well, I guess you just pick whatever one feels best to you. But let's go back down onto this ankle braking path and just have a look at it from the other direction. And you know, I don't know, I can't really say anything bad about it, except I guess you do get quite a few pedestrians in some areas wandering back and forth across it. Not really possible here because there's all these hoardings, so there's obviously nowhere there for the pedestrians to go. But I guess when things are busy and lots of people in the city, you might have to just watch for people crossing over the path, not looking for traffic coming from either direction. You see there's bus shelters over on the right hand side there. There's plenty of space for pedestrians. There's no conflict with bus passengers, etc. And there's this great big separation from the road. And then of course it just ends as usual. And it's like, where the hell do I go from here? This is the Horseshoe Bridge over on our left, and I came up to here, I was thinking, do I keep going across here on the footpath? Do I go across the lights to the right? Do I get out on the road? What am I supposed to do? And this is the second time I've been here, and I still really don't have a clue. There's no signage anywhere, there's no symbology, there's no paint on the ground that says you should get off here. It's just a mystery. And I did see this little ramp here and I thought, well, I wonder if this will take me around the back. So let's just go for a quick explore down here and see where this takes me, because, well, could it be any worse than any of the other options that are available? And of course I got around the corner here and went, yes, it is actually the worst option because it's shops and it's the railway station, and no, we don't want to be riding through there at all. So let's just go back to the traffic lights and, you know, try and figure it out from there. But, you know, this is just how bad the wayfinding signage and the symbology is, and I decided, right, I'm going to go across the lights and stick to the footpath as we go past the train station and see where this gets us. And you can see again there's no red asphalt anywhere, there's no signage, there's nothing on the ground. Am I supposed to be here or not? And look, you can ride on the footpaths in Perth as an adult. It's not a legal issue. It's more about, is this the safest issue for deconfliction with pedestrians, and is it the fastest way of doing it? Is the road quite safe to ride on? Who knows? And of course there's all these obstacles along here, like a million bike racks which you don't want to run into, and there's street signs and bus shelters and seats and rubbish bins and power poles and goodness knows what else. So I thought, well, there's no traffic around, I'll just jump out on the road and see what it's like out here. And, you know, is this where I'm supposed to be? Because looking across on the left there, that footpath actually looks pretty narrow. And okay, you can see over on the left there's a pedestrian/cyclist sign. That was for going left over that bridge that goes over the railway line. It wasn't for this path on our left here. And of course you wouldn't want to be on it because there's all this warning signage taking up most of the path, and bus shelters and rubbish bins and parking instructions and goodness, you know, all the other kind of stuff that clutters up our footpaths. So it's not a clean, easy route, you know, to go along here. And I just kept going and going and going, and it was just more of the same. You know, I just never figured out, is the road where we're supposed to be along here? Because if you've got this really nice, fully separated bike path back where we were earlier that just finishes, where to from there? You know, there has to be, okay, if it finishes, it finishes, because maybe there's no space to put a bike path in, and that's just life. But at least provide some indication of where the heck you're supposed to go afterwards, because you know, I was just dazed and confused, and that's probably not a good way to be when you're riding around mixing it up in traffic. You need really clear directions so you know exactly where to go, so you don't make stupid mistakes and you don't end up turning yourself into a hood ornament.